Listen and practice. Alex stared at his reflection, a wave of frustration washing over him. He dreamt of fluent conversations, but his English felt like a tangled mess of forgotten words and awkward pauses. The desire burned intensely, yet a heavy chain of self-doubt held him firmly rooted to the spot, preventing any real progress in his daily struggle. Every morning, the thought of speaking English loomed large, a giant, intimidating mountain he felt utterly unprepared to climb. He consumed countless articles and videos about how to improve your English, but practical application remained an elusive phantom. The theoretical knowledge was there, but the bridge to real conversation was missing. He devoured advice on how to learn English, diligently noting down vocabulary and grammar rules. Yet, when the moment arose to actually utter a sentence, his mind went blank, his tongue tied in knots. It was a disheartening cycle, repeating itself day after painful day, diminishing his self-belief. His my daily struggle was a silent battle waged within his own mind. He knew the words, sometimes, but retrieving them under pressure felt impossible. The fear of making mistakes, of sounding foolish, was a powerful deterrent, stronger than any motivation he could muster. The internet promised various techniques for how to talk with anyone, but Alex couldn't even bring himself to speak confidently with his own family in English, let alone strangers. The chasm between aspiration and reality seemed to widen with each passing day, making him feel increasingly isolated. He understood the importance of how to take first step for talking. But what was that first step? Where did he begin to chip away at this immense wall of inhibition? The sheer magnitude of the task often overwhelmed him, leading to procrastination and further inaction, cementing his struggles. One evening, a glimmer of an idea sparked. What if he started simple, incredibly simple? How to talk at home to yourself became his new mantra. It felt awkward, even silly, at first, but the privacy offered a safe sanctuary for his hesitant attempts at English. Standing in front of the mirror, he began to narrate his daily activities. I am brushing my teeth. This is a blue toothbrush. His voice was low, almost a whisper, but it was a start. He described objects, actions, anything to get the words flowing freely. This solo practice slowly morphed into how to think and speak simultaneously. He tried to frame his internal monologue in English, even when performing mundane tasks like cooking or walking the dog. This mental exercise proved surprisingly effective for improving fluency. He discovered that thinking in English forced his brain to process thoughts directly, bypassing the translation step. This was a crucial breakthrough, helping him connect ideas and expressions more naturally. The internal conversations became less of a chore, more of a flow. Alex realized why you should practice speaking wasn't just about output, but also about solidifying input. Every spoken word, no matter how simple, reinforced the vocabulary and grammar he had previously learned from books and online resources. It made knowledge stick. Consistent, albeit private, practice started to chip away at his anxiety. The fear of sounding imperfect began to wane as he became more accustomed to the sound of his own voice speaking English. This was a significant step towards building confidence. He began to record himself, listening back to his pronunciation and cadence. It was often painful to hear his mistakes, but it also provided invaluable insights into areas needing improvement. This self-assessment was a powerful tool for progress. Slowly, Almost imperceptibly, his internal monologue transformed into more elaborate sentences than paragraphs. He started describing complex ideas, debating imaginary topics, and even practicing job interview answers, all within the confines of his own mind and home. The initial awkwardness of talking to himself gave way to a sense of empowerment. He was actively engaging with the language, making it his own, rather than passively consuming it. This active participation was the missing piece of the puzzle. He imagined scenarios, ordering coffee, asking for directions, having a casual chat. He rehearsed these conversations silently, preparing himself for real-world interactions. This mental preparation significantly reduced his potential future anxiety. The concept of how make confidence in speaking wasn't a sudden epiphany, but a gradual accumulation of small victories. Each successful self-narration, each well-formed thought in English, added a tiny brick to his wall of self-assurance. Confidence wasn't about perfection, it was about willingness. Willingness to try, to stumble, to learn from mistakes, and to keep going. This shift in perspective was vital for breaking free from the paralyzing fear of failure. After weeks of diligent self-practice, Alex felt a subtle but profound change. The words didn't feel as distant or elusive anymore. He could construct sentences more quickly, and his internal vocabulary retrieval process had become significantly smoother. The day arrived when he felt a faint stirring of readiness to take the next step. It wasn't a sudden burst of courage, but a quiet, persistent urge to test his newfound abilities in a low-stakes environment. The comfort zone was expanding. His first public, how to take first step for talking, wasn't a grand speech. It was a simple greeting to a foreign tourist he encountered in a park. "Good morning," he managed, his voice a little shaky but clear. The tourist smiled and responded in kind. A brief, polite exchange followed about the weather. It was over in seconds, but for Alex, it was an immense triumph, a successful deployment of his weeks of private linguistic training. This tiny interaction ignited a spark. He realized that most people were kind and understanding, not judgmental. The fear of embarrassment, which had loomed so large, began to shrink with each positive encounter. He started seeking out opportunities for brief conversations, asking for directions at a station, ordering food in English at a cafe with an international menu, making small talk with exchange students. Each interaction added to his growing confidence. How to talk with anyone transformed from an intimidating challenge into an exciting possibility. He learned that initiating conversations was often less daunting than he had imagined, especially when he focused on simple, practical exchanges. He discovered that people were often eager to help or just happy to chat, especially when they saw someone genuinely trying to communicate. This encouragement further fueled his determination to continue his speaking journey. Alex actively sought out language exchange partners online, practicing video calls. These conversations, though sometimes challenging, pushed him beyond his comfort zone and greatly accelerated his progress in real-time dialogue. He made a deliberate effort to join online communities focused on language learning, sharing his struggles and successes with others who understood offered immense support and motivation, making him feel less alone in his journey. The initial struggle of my daily day's struggle began to morph into a rewarding daily challenge. Each day presented new opportunities to speak, to listen, and to refine his English skills in various authentic contexts. He found that immersion, even if artificial, was key. He changed his phone language to English, watched movies without subtitles, and listened to English podcasts constantly. This constant exposure was reinforcing his learning. How to learn English became less about memorization and more about active engagement. He wasn't just studying words. He was living them, using them, and experiencing them in natural communicative settings. His ability to think and speak simultaneously improved dramatically. The pauses became shorter, the flow more natural, and the effort less conscious. English was slowly but surely becoming an extension of his thoughts. He embraced mistakes as learning opportunities, no longer allowing them to paralyze him. Each error was a chance to understand a grammatical rule better or to learn a more appropriate vocabulary word. This resilience was crucial. The why you should practice speaking mantra had become deeply ingrained. He understood that passive learning had its limits. Active speaking was the bridge to true fluency and mastery of the language. Alex noticed that his listening comprehension had also improved remarkably. Being forced to articulate his own thoughts made him more attuned to how others structured their sentences and used idiomatic expressions. He even started offering small pieces of advice to new language learners, sharing his journey from intense shyness to confident communication. His own experience was now a source of inspiration for others. The path to how make confidence in speaking was paved with consistent effort and self-compassion. He learned that confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about daring to be imperfect and still persisting. His vocabulary expanded not just through rote memorization, but through practical usage. When he encountered a new word, he immediately tried to incorporate it into his internal monologue or a real conversation. He discovered that even small daily habits, like commenting on English social media posts or reading news articles aloud, contributed significantly to his overall linguistic progress and enhanced his fluency. Alex remembered the days when even simple greetings felt like an insurmountable obstacle. Now, he could comfortably participate in discussions, express opinions, and even tell jokes in English. The initial question of how to improve your English had been answered through consistent, systematic application of various techniques, especially the crucial step of actively speaking from day one. He encouraged everyone to start small, just like he did, with how to talk at home to yourself. It was a safe, judgment-free space to build the foundational comfort necessary for public speaking. This journey was a powerful testament to the idea that fluency isn't about innate talent, but about sustained effort and smart strategies. Anyone could achieve it with dedication and the right approach. His daily routine now naturally integrated English practice. It wasn't a separate chore, but an organic part of his day, a habit that brought enjoyment and a sense of continuous accomplishment. He found particular joy in expressing his personality and thoughts fully in a new language. It was like unlocking a new dimension of himself, a more expansive and communicative version. The initial My Daily Days struggle transformed into My Daily Days progress, a continuous upward trajectory of learning and growing, proving that persistence truly pays off in language acquisition. He often reflected on the profound impact learning English had on his life, opening doors to new friendships, professional opportunities, and a deeper understanding of global cultures and perspectives. Alex became a strong advocate for proactive speaking. He believed that merely consuming content was insufficient. One must produce, must speak, to truly internalize and master a language. His advice for how to take first step for talking was clear. Find any opportunity, no matter how small, to utter an English word or phrase. The snowball effect would eventually lead to bigger conversations. He knew the journey was ongoing, but the initial paralyzing fear had been conquered. His English-speaking confidence was now a strong, steady flame, ready to light up any conversation. From awkward whispers to confident conversations, Alex's story became a beacon for anyone feeling stuck. His transformation proved that consistent practice, even alone, is the true secret to unlocking your voice. He continued to embrace every chance to speak, understanding that each interaction was another brick in the wall of his fluency. The world opened up wider with every confident word he spoke. His message was simple: don't wait for perfection. Start speaking now, even if it's just to yourself. The confidence will follow the courage, not the other way around. This was his profound realization. Alex's journey demonstrated that the biggest barrier often isn't the language itself, but the fear within. Overcoming that internal struggle is the first and most crucial step towards true English mastery. So, if you're struggling, remember Alex. Start small, speak often, and believe in the power of your own voice. Your English fluency journey begins with that very first brave word, leading to global connection.